I had an entire house full of carpet. I was going to remodel the trailer again.
Right.
And when I started letting people live here, they just started snagging carpet for the camper.
Sure.
And it all wasted away.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I mean, just
you actually
now I got probably 2 rooms worth of carpet.
do you still use the mobile home
Charlie
for?
lives in here.
Oh, okay. Charlie was a guy I just met, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I met him before.
Chris stays in here, but
Yeah.
he's only he's only stayed here about 1-2 nights. The dude owed me $2,200.
This is actually nice. A lot of potential, you know, to be able to fix it up and do things with it.
Well,
you
it
know?
was pristine.
Yeah.
The guy drove it here,
Oh, okay.
and through 3 people staying here, it completely gutted it, and we're about ready to cut it into pieces and scrap it out.
Well, it's still functional. It looks like you got running water, and you know, you have things that can be used.
Yeah, but we just got to get it off the property before I get fined again. I've already gotten my 2nd fine on this.
Sure. Yeah. I'm Steve with Offensive, supervisor of street outreach for Santa Rosa. For the documentary we're filming today, do I have your permission to video and audio record to publish, in effect, to raise support and awareness for the Offensive mission statement?
Yes, of course.
Thank you, thank you. So may I have your name or your street name?
I'm Mark. I'm from Picola. I'm actually from Cali, Hollywood.
Okay, Mark, and how old are you?
63.
63. Okay, you look good for 63. You're athletic, taking care of yourself.
I've tried.
Okay, and you identify as a male?
Yes, bi male.
Okay, okay. And any nicknames, street names you may have?
No, I've never been affiliated with a gang or anything, so I've never needed a nickname. I mean, at one time I was known as Mark of the Woods, but that's just because I set up camping trips.
Okay.
It was
So, Mark, where were you born and raised?
Hollywood, Burbank, the Valley, California. We moved a lot, 17 times in my school years. My dad he struggled a bit, but he always kept work and he always kept us fed.
Okay, and would you say the majority of your life has been spent there in the California area?
28 years. I left there at 28 and went to Little Rock and did a little bit of traveling, and then after my 2nd marriage, or during my 2nd marriage, I decided to retire here in Florida, and it didn't work out that way. I just moved here.
So how long have you been here in Florida altogether?
16 years.
16 years, okay. So you're pretty familiar with the area by now.
Oh, yeah.
You know how to get to the RVs and Circle K and so forth?
And I bought and sold 11 houses here, doing flips.
Okay. And what would you say your highest education level is?
I went through nursing school. I'm an LPN. I also went through a CNA school, Belton Career College.
So what would CNA be for those who aren't familiar with the medical?
Certified Nurse's Assistant, and then I went to LPN school, which is a licensed practitioner nurse or a licensed vocational nurse. It could be LVN.
Great.
Also.
It's a major accomplishment.
I studied to be a psych nurse, a psychologist, working in mental institutions, things like that.
Did you ever get to do an internship at the mental institutions and
I
whatnot?
actually worked in mental institutions before I was licensed. But you see, back in the day, you didn't have to have a license. We were ordered as nurses to all go to school and get licensed. But like my mom, she decided she was going to quit. She retired. She was an RN, and they wanted her to go to school to be an RN. What are you talking about? You know? But I went ahead and I went to school and cooperated, and then I finished my schooling years later when I went to LPN school.
Okay. In your childhood, were there any sexual, physical, or mental abuse there that...
Yeah, that's a kind of heavy one, but at age 12, I was a juvenile hall counselor. At Central Juvenile Hall in LA, for 6 months he took advantage of me almost daily, and I was a virgin then, and it was my first sexual experiences. And at first, I fought like the Dickens I wanted him dead. And then after a while, it started feeling good, and I actually cooperated towards the end. I guess he broke me if you looked at it that way, but
So you feel that was a factor into identifying as
that
bisexual?
is about the only factor in that turned me bi. I had a very confused teenage years. I didn't know if I was bi or gay or straight, and I was actually probably a straight man that was turned bi.
How do you feel that affected your identity being an adolescent at 12, right at the bridge of puberty?
It was terrible. It scared me. It destroyed my whole teenage years. I went to a psychiatrist in my 20s, and it kind of helped me organize things in my head. And she taught me a few things that just helped me in life. And a chick named Patricia that was a retired can-can dancer from Las Vegas, and her husband took me in as like a friend. And I used to work for him, yard work and stuff. And part of my payment was sexual favors. And she taught me everything there is to know about a woman and a man, for that matter. Everything. If I had any question, she would teach me. It was incredible. I knew them from about age 13 to 18, but on my 18th birthday was the last time I got to see her. Short of I did see her in a grocery store one time after that. But at 18, they came to me and said, well, this day was coming, and because you're an adult, you are now a threat to our marriage, so we can't have you around here. And I'm like, well, I'll see you later. And
That had to have been
ended the
devastating.
friend.
Absolutely devastating to you.
Because they were some of my best friends, even though the age difference and everything, they were really, really close to me.
How did your peer group, from when you were 12 up to 18, how did your peer group treat you and view you? And how did that shape your perception of yourself?
I was so many leaps and bounds above and beyond them that I didn't even notice them. I mean, for real, I felt as if I was an adult at 13 and 14. I went where I wanted to go. I traveled where I wanted to travel. I met who I wanted to. I was hanging out most of the time with the Hells Angels. I was friends with a few chosen few. I loved older people. They had more things to offer, and I identified with them better.
The Chosen Few, is that just a nickname for the Hells Angels, or is it like a support club for the Hells Angels?
It's a club. Above and Beyond, they're by themselves. They're separate. But yeah, they probably could be called a support group because they are on the same turf and they are cooperative. They don't feud too often.
Now, with you being younger and being exposed to that lifestyle, maybe a culture shock would be fair to say.
Well, I grew into that culture shock real easily because I felt as if that's where I fit in.
Secondary
But
family.
another thing is that my dad he always taught me that I was to be a loner, that I should never join a gang, that I should, and so I never prospected. They asked me many times, and I refused.
Just kind of a hang
I was a
around.
brother. They called me a little brother. And I did favors for them every now and then, and they did favors for me,
Were you ever exploited sexually due to your bisexual identification during that time period?
Well, that's all in a perspective.
Sure.
You see, I hoard myself. Being from Hollywood, that's super common. A lot of couples picked me. Really, back then it wasn't as big of a deal as it is now. Nowadays, God, it's just so terrible. It's like the worst thing on the planet, but it wasn't.
When you say the couples picked you, is that in line with what we would view now as a swinging community, or was it more of just individual couples who are pursuing a sexual fetish away from a community?
Yeah, they're trying. probably were attempting to become swingers, and they wanted to try it out with a whore at first, and that's where I came in.
Do you feel that maybe you could have in some forms been sex trafficked during that time from one family to a next, not
It
realize
could
it
have
then?
no. It could have happened easily. I could have been trafficked, but I was kind of a badass. Both I knew martial arts. I had two black belts at that age. Me and my dad took martial arts together when I was really young.
How many families would you say that would select you and that you would engage in these practices with them during those years?
My junior high and high school years, I'll put it. I couldn't count, but my junior high and high school years, I always had about 500 in my pocket. I always had the drugs I wanted, and on me. I didn't have to search.
Were these families that selected you and you engaged with them to fulfill sexual fantasies and whatnot, were these families connected or did they know each other back then?
Maybe one or two of them knew each other, and hey, I tried this guy out, and he worked out well. That kind of thing, yeah.
Okay.
But nothing like, yeah, he's underage, and we're an underground kind of group, or no, nothing like that.
Sure.
Because I don't think I ever met somebody like that. Even these people using me as a whore, they just picked me. It wasn't because of my age. It was because of who I was, what I looked like, how I dressed, that kind of thing.
Did you have anybody in your peer group, friends at school or in the neighborhood around your age that may have been selected also?
Yes, there was quite a few women, girls, that were whores.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't think of one male besides myself that did. And you see, it was a secret. Only my best friend knew. And he knew because I gave him a clue one time, just before a date. I told him something that it was a clue, and he figured it out from that clue. That I was whoring myself out, and it was probably also a little bit about the way I acted, and I was more mature acting in the sexual aspect of conversation. I wouldn't sit here and giggle about boobies or anything like that.
Right.
Uh, you know, uh, and he picked up on that. We had actually swapped girlfriends and stuff before, after that, because that's probably why we were friends, because he was a little beyond his age also.
Mm.
Old Bart, I miss him.
Have you been in contact with him over the years or
No, last I heard he was in Quentin, San Quentin.
that's the federal prison?
Yeah,
Okay.
he went in on stealing a safe from a household,
Mm.
and got shot in the butt cheek, from what I heard, at Buena Vista Park.
Mm. Okay.
One of the parks we used to party in.
What was your relationship with your parents like from during this whole period of preteen and then adolescence and then young adulthood prior to 18?
Now, I will tell you, they were the greatest parents on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Then, I would have told you that they were the worst. They were scared. They didn't understand me. They tried their best uh, to control me at first, but then they learned that I wasn't going to be controlled. I just to let me go, and I would figure things out in life, and that's what I did. And they helped every step of the way. They were beautiful, great parents, but I didn't see it then.
I see that you retain some family photos. You have some in frames on your
Yes,
wall.
I do.
Would you like to share any of that today?
Yeah, I'll show you mom and dad.
Absolutely.
Start off here. That's my mom, and that's my dad. 3 days before their wedding, they went to North Hollywood High together. That's where they met. And um,
Hmm.
yeah, I miss
Very
them a
traditional.
lot.
Very traditional for sure.
I bought this trailer for my mother when my dad died,
Mm-hmm.
and moved her out here from Arkansas
Hmm.
because I couldn't see her living alone, states away from me.
Sure.
Um, I wanted to show you a little of my artwork.
I'm definitely interested. We're going to cover that as soon as we cover the family photos. Were there any other ones that you wanted to share? Or
I want to show you my daughters.
okay, this is more recent here.
This is actually just before prom. That's Renee and Chaz, and They're my stepchildren. I haven't been with their mom in 10 or more years, and they're grown. They're 34 and 35 now.
When's the last time you had contact with them just to say hello or send them a Christmas
I
gift or
think
how you're
about
doing?
5 years ago, I lost their number now, but I could easily get it back. I need to, because I want to talk to them. They were my best friends. They were great kids. They didn't get into trouble. Man, yeah, the easiest kids I've ever seen to raise. They were great.
You think it would be therapeutic for you to reach out and try to maintain a consistent relationship with them, you know?
Yeah, I think it would be. And I have 7 grandbabies by them, and I've only met like 2 of them.
Maybe time to do a little road trip. Get
Yeah.
out there and visit the family and
Yeah,
reemerge.
I think that might be in my future. I got to straighten up my act first. I don't want to present myself again to them as an addict because I already did that once with them.
Are you afraid of being judged by them? Maybe their input, their feelings about you would.
Yes, I don't think they would. I raised them better than that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they would judge me, but in a small way, there is a fear that they would.
Sure, of rejection. But you love yourself. That's important. You accept yourself for
I know
who you
who I
are.
am.
And you've had to overcome a lot of obstacles and challenges with, it's a book. If you read a book when you're 10, you'll view it differently as you're 20, 30, 40, and 50.
Hey, a book has chapters.
Right. We're all evolving every day. You won't be the same person tomorrow that you are today, and you won't be the same person yesterday.
Let me use your lighter.
Yep.